Call the meeting to order.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Someone want to make a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda with one notation that action item number 1 should be eliminated. That's a city permit, not a county inside the city.
Oh,
I was wondering about that.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Action item number 1, rolled out. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Approve the, we want to make a motion to approve the minutes from the board meeting July 26th of 22.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second to approve the previous minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We'll do a public comment at this time. If nobody's too excited, so we'll move on to appointments. I guess we'll do the Historical Society right now. You want to come up here to the front row?
Good morning.
Good
morning.
First of all, I want to say thank you to Houston County for continuing the support of the Houston County Historical Society. We feel we're an important asset to the county and we do appreciate this. We have a lot of visitors and a lot of researchers. And this summer, we've been having school children visit that are having summer school, which is interesting. That's a new one for us. So and things are improving as over the last 2 years, our visitors and researchers are coming back. And so we're busy putting up new displays for the fair. We have reorganized the communications display and we're doing new acquisitions and a pewter collection. Reworking ag display because of the taking down of the Barnyard Friends building. We're a little short of space right now for all the space that we think we have. And vintage clothing, new acquisitions, spinning wheels, and much, much more. And we're working on having more display in the basement. We're finding that we're going to have to move the fire truck into the basement because it's the cold weather is not doing it any good. So some of our projects for this year are, or for the next couple of years, is we're wanting to make a parking lot on the south side of the new building and with a sidewalk going into the entrance. We really need that because we kind of clog up the street there with visitors and things. We need to shingle and paint the church, Presbyterian church. So we had shingle loss over the last storm too. And we need to finish painting the Church of the Holy Comforter in Brownsville. And we want to finish the entrance to the new museum. So it kind of resembles the museum on the old museum and the research center to give it a more professional look. And original sort of remind you of the original museum, I guess we'd say. So we're having busy times.
Yeah. We had the roof at Eitzen inspected. That's a flat tar roof and we were concerned it was getting old, but they did patch a hole, but they said it's good for another few years anyway, so,
Yeah.
so we're happy about that. And
It's actually a rubber roof and it's about 24 years old, so it's really been a good choice because we had lots of problems with that roof before.
Mhm.
had about 50 visitors at Eitzen Museum, or a little bit over probably at, during the 4th of July, so we manned that. We're all volunteers and we're getting tired, so we're putting out, people are interested and have a few hours during their week, come and see us, because we've certainly got many different types of projects. Interested in doing that thing.
Yep.
The acquisitions are coming in. And because of duplicates, we have to turn down some, and it's very difficult to do because people want their things there, but we simply don't have room for duplicates unless it's something really unusual. We, as example of our researchers, I had one in from North Dakota on Thursday. We've opened another day now. We're on Thursday too. And, she found a lot of things. She was searching for about 8 families and did about 50 pages of copies and quite an afternoon. So this is, we're so happy that we're able to help people. It makes you feel good that they're finding things.
And, there's the internet, people can search families, but we have their, original documents and, family genealogy files, so they can look through that and find some odd things, or, the newspapers, they're not all up on the hub, Historical Society hub, so we're still relevant as far as doing genealogy work with the internet
Mhm.
stuff going on. So.
So when you get all these duplicates from different families, what do you do with them?
You have to turn them
Do
down.
you turn them down, send it back with them, or do you?
We ask them what they would like to do with them, and we do have a sale every once in a while, and sometimes they say, well, put it on your sale.
Okay.
The hardest thing are the military uniforms,
Yeah.
because what do you do with them? And they like to save them though, because they're family. But we have so many.
I have a couple of dicks downstairs. and I
Yeah,
was gonna
yeah.
get-
And they're,
Especially
nice.
the army, I think
Vietnam.
more were in the army than anything.
Yeah,
And
Mhm.
we
we
have,
don't have any Civil War ones now. Somebody has some of those.
That'd be something.
Yeah.
That would be something.
yeah,
But,
we
yeah,
have,
so that's,
But you simply just don't have the room for it.
no, it'd be nice if we had like a military area. I don't know what we can do, but it's just not possible. What we have
Yeah.
to display it, if we even have storage boxes to put it in. So,
Right.
we try to change out. We don't really keep clothing up more than 6 months because it's too hard on them to hang or to, the light and all that. So, people sometimes want to donate things and they want them up consistently. And we said, we can't do that because we need to rotate so other people have a chance to have their things up. And
Right.
also it's not good for them, for the,
The light will damage them. Yeah.
Fade.
And with because the Boneyard Friends building was torn down, that was our store, had a lot of storage. So because of that, we have a lot of things we finished that have been sitting there waiting for a while. And we've had some beautiful things. We have a person that does it for us, and just got a counter from the old Albert's grocery store, and it's beautiful. And we had from the Free River Church,
Yeah.
investment chest that turned out beautiful. So, we just have to get everything placed, but anyway, it's kind of prompted us to do some of the things that we've been wanting to do.
And the
Well, it's-
agriculture building is quite full, and so we are, besides the fire truck, we're going to bring in the restored buggies and things into the basement. That always was intended to be more a museum than just a storage space, so.
Well, it sounds like we need to talk.
Oh,
So
okay. We need to talk. Whoa, what's that mean?
I have some ideas I've been kicking around too. And it concerns the the old jail. And I think that would be a perfect spot for a museum showcase too. And because I know you guys don't have room, you have to turn stuff down. And I think that's an alternative that we should seriously consider.
I thought at one time it would have been nice to have had a driftless museum there, but then Lansing beat us to it.
Yeah, right, yep.
But yeah, and the military would go nice with the veterans park right out there.
Exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. That's why, so,
But we need more people.
yeah. And so like,
Yeah.
do you have younger generation coming in or not so, or?
Well, I'll take my daughter, my family, for example, my children. They love history. They'd love to be volunteering there, but they have full-time jobs.
I know,
And
it's hard,
kids, and
yep,
where's the time?
that's right. Yep, there's so many things going on, you just can't,
So I think a lot of people have their heart in it. It's just finding the man.
right, and it's that way with everything. It's hard to find volunteers to do stuff.
And I talked to another museum director one time and he said, most people don't really get really interested till they get to be about 50 years old.
I believe that.
And because
Then you
before
start
that,
getting
they're too
time.
busy with family and jobs and the things have sort of evened out by the time they get to be 50.
Yep.
Hopefully. So, but we have a lot of great volunteers. We've been getting some new ones lately and some have retired and so, but as an age group, we're up there. We are lucky to have some other younger ones like.
It's all relative.
But I think you're seeing the result of the interest in history and the restoration of buildings in our communities in the county. You know, there's interest in going back to original, how it looked and saving some of those
And it's
nice
important,
lines of these
right,
buildings.
and it's important, so people understand where we came from and,
More
and-
unique, so it's like,
Yep.
it brings people in because it's like, wow. this
yep,
is-
family histories, and everybody's got a story to tell, and, yeah.
Oh, we have, I lost my train of thought. We have- If you have any more questions or if you'd like to volunteer. I know you don't have anything to do.
Well, please do visit us at the fair.
Yes.
Yeah. We always my wife and I always make a point to come and visit, look through it, so.
Hopefully we'll have the barn done. We had to get tires on the tractors pumped up and there's a tire in the way to get the fire engine out, so we have to do something, something come and pull it out. And so, yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we're trying to, we also have somebody that's supposed to be removing the foundation for that Barnyard Friends, but so far it hasn't happened. And we wanted to get that out before fair time because we felt it was kind of a hazard.
Uh-huh.
That's
So,
another thing that's hard is finding contractors that will
Have time.
have time to do some of the things. we do.
Yeah.
But about the Barnyard Friends, but we wanted to commemorate it in some way because that building was built in 1945 as a 4-H building. It was a dormitory, it had a lyceum hall and it was a 2-story. So we're wanting to do a plaque at the parking lot area and the history on that. So we're working on that.
so if you have any more questions, we'll try to answer them for you. It is working out, being open another day a week too, so. We would be open 5 days if we could get the volunteers.
Yeah. Well, thank you for what you do. It's good that we have you people that will still hang in there and volunteer and do the work because someone has to do it, so.
And when you think about it, when 1960, when we reorganized, we had about $40 and a few artifacts. And now we have all this museum by the fairgrounds and Heighton and Brownsville. And so it's, I've been involved with it since it was reorganized practically. And it's been such a wonderful experience to see it grow like it has. We never would have expected it to turn out like this. So
Yep.
we're very happy.
You guys done a good job. You've come a long way, so. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep, thank you. Sam out there.
To make a motion then to go into closed session or?
Make a motion, we close in closed session.
Second.
Then a motion in a second to go into closed session. All in favor, say aye.
All right,
Opposed? Motion carries.
9:49, I made the motion to come out of closed session.
Okay.
Seconded by Dooley. Sam's coming back.
I don't know, I'm kind of
He
wondering.
would to give a summary of the closed session.
It was just a client privilege to discuss the recent MAPE arbitration results.
Okay, everybody agree with that?
Yep. That's fine.
All right, then I think we'll move to the consent agenda. Anybody want to make any changes there or anything?
See it as being good. I move to accept the consent agenda.
Motion to accept it
I'll second it.
in a second. Any more discussion? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda passes. Action items. Number 2, consider approving a resolution number 22-38, establishing a ballot board for absentee and UOCAVA for the 22 primary and general elections. Donna?
Okay, yes, commissioners, I'm trying to,
You muted.
You're muted, Donna.
sorry.
Okay.
Okay, this is
There
the
you go.
ballot board we have right now. And this will also allow me if later on to add if I need to for the general. So this just basically gives me the authority to establish my ballot board for the primary and the general election.
So you're gonna use your staff?
My staff,
county staff?
there's, yep, then what I've done, Commissioner Johnson, is I've gotten them all to sign their party, a form that what party they are. So we have party balance and that is required by law. So I am going to assure that I have adequate party balance whenever we do anything as far as the ballots are concerned. And I also have the recorder's office. They're going to assist me as well.
Were you able to establish party balance with the staff?
Yep, it's absolutely 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So it worked out perfect.
Can you explain to me what the acronym UO?
Yoakava, that's
Yep.
overseas, that's the overseas ballots that we get. And they're called
military?
Yoakava.
Okay.
They're actually required to be sent way ahead of time for the overseas people and actually probably emails most of the information. And they're actually done way in advance, so they make sure they get back and back to our office in time.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Has there been any discussion of allowing private citizens to be on this ballot board?
We haven't, other counties, I've reached out to Fillmore and I've reached out to Winona. Winona County does because, they are a little bit larger county, but and they do have a couple of people from outside, but Fillmore County does not. They use their finance office on their ballot board as well. So it's, maybe for the general, things might change, but for the primary, we don't see any need for it. To be quite
Okay.
honest, there's not enough absentee ballots that do come in. We haven't been, nobody has really contacted us for the most part. and asked us if they can be on the ballot board. We would have to pay those people if they came in, and we'd have to have a specified time as well,
Right.
which, you know,
Pay our people anyways.
So for the general, you're gonna come back to us for another,
actually, I will not have to, because this will include the general as well. And if someone contacts me, I have the authority by this resolution to add up.
to add them in.
Right, but I do have to, I will have to pay those people
That's fine, yeah.
per hour wage. So I'll just have to talk it over with finance about, if that happens, if somebody does request to come in.
Okay,
Mhm.
But if somebody requests to come in, you're gonna have to have. I mean,
have-
So it doesn't throw balance as far as.
Correct.
well, it'll have to be
Representation,
balanced,
so-
yep.
Yep, they're gonna have to let me know what their party is, and I'll have to make sure there's party balance for everything that's completed in our office.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah, but right now I have a perfect party balance with the mix that we've got right now, so.
So I get 2/3 of it. What's the other third? What party is that?
Independent.
We
Independent?
have legal marijuana
Oh,
and the other one.
I was wondering what.
I thought it was independent.
The grass.
well, it used to be the Reform Party, but whatever.
Yeah, it has, I contacted the Secretary of State, and as long as they're one of the four parties, I'm okay. And if they don't declare party balance, they are not allowed. Well, they can be on the ballot board, but they can't do very much. So, I've talked to a couple of.
You have
counties.
to declare, yeah.
Yeah, so, we got the grassroots legalized cannabis and the legal marijuana. One of each.
Well,
Or do we have a motion to approve resolution number 2238?
Not yet.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2238, establishing ballot board for absentee and overseas.
okay, we have a motion to approve the resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
We got a motion and a second to approve the resolution number 22-38, establishing a ballot board for the absentees and overseas ballots. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you.
Consider appointing Craig Shaver to the Economic Development Authority Board as of July 6, 22, 3-year term. Allison?
We have someone new who is willing to serve on our EDA board. We haven't had a full board, so this will be a good addition. The EDA is making the recommendation. Craig is a Houston County resident, and he also works for a business in Houston. So he's a banker at the new bank in Houston.
Rushford State Bank in Houston. I make a motion, we appoint Craig Schrader to the EDA board.
Second.
Okay, we've had a motion and second to appoint Craig Schrader to the Economic Development Board. All in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed, motion carries. Now should we go to that closed session?
What is
No.
what is the closed session for? That's for our.
Reviews.
Reviews. Public comment, get all the other stuff done first before we close.
Yeah,
We could do that, whatever you guys want to do.
Well, public comment comes at the end.
But we have our commissioner reports and board updates yet, so you want to do the,
I think we should do our board updates and commissioner reports before we go to department head review.
that's fine.
And there is that discussion that Tess requested.
That we can do that under commissioner discussion.
And we're gonna do board updates, and I have some of your stuff from Donna for discussion for us. There's 5 items on here. Reminder that the auditor's office has a PAT, public accuracy testing Wednesday, August 3rd at 9 o'clock at the commissioner's room. The public is invited to attend. Second one, the auditor's office is open for absentee voting from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. this Saturday, August 6th. Number three, the primary election is next week, August 9th. Remember to vote. Polls are open at 7 o'clock. Fourth one is a copy of the preliminary ballot is posted in the official paper, Caledonia Argus. You can also view the ballot at the auditor's office window here in the courthouse, the county website, or the city hall, or the township in which you vote. Number five, in discussion, you can decide whether two commissioners will attend the canvassing meeting on Friday, August 12th at 10 o'clock. What I have for there, and I guess any other updates, I had a zoning meeting on Thursday night. Everything went well. No fights, no argument, pretty good, really went good, so. I guess I got an airport meeting on the 11th. That's probably about all I got. Who wants to be next? Dewey or Teresa? Take your pick.
Well, I can start. Not much going on. The bridge that we discussed earlier is being put together as we speak. It'll be Thursday night, starting at about 8 o'clock. We're going to start closing the highway down for the actual install. Other than that, a lot of street projects in the community of La Crescent, but that's about it.
Are they gonna get rid of those by the caddies and the,
That's still in review. They scheduled it to be on until October 15th, which I thought was crazy because of
Yeah.
Apple Fest parade, da, da, da. I think there's enough pressure from the community that it might be down sooner. But as of now, it's scheduled till the mid part of October.
as I was at that corner and a car came around, I thought it was gonna hit me head
Yeah.
on.
No, it's way overboard, and they know my feeling on that already.
Yes, well, I was just wondering if they were moving on it.
No, nothing at this time. That's it.
Eric?
You can go.
Oh, well, I don't have too much. Did we come up with an emergency amount that we filed with the state yet? For the flood, wind and tornado damage? Or don't we know yet?
Last time he was here and reported it was over 150,000 and he hadn't heard from a few yet, so it's probably gonna run about 200.
Okay, see, and I didn't write that down, so I was concerned. Dewey, did you notice that there's boys on the West Channel
Yeah.
waterway?
Who is?
Yeah,
Yeah, downstream from our, but not ours yet, and
right.
I'm waiting on things from that office, but yeah, La Crosse has them on their section of that river or West
Okay,
Channel. Why can't we?
okay.
Yeah, but
okay.
they're downstream. They've been there since the beginning of the year.
And La Crosse put them up?
Yep.
Okay. The display cabinet is put together, did work on it Friday afternoon, and I took down the last of the pictures behind to the surveyor's office, Tammy and stuff. And we
So that-
haven't,
That'll be ready for the open house then.
oh, they're ready, it's ready for the open house. I was gonna send pictures out, but you'll see it. And I don't have anything on cell phone. Bob, do you have anything yet or nothing public? Okay. And that's it.
Bob, there, who wants to?
I went to Hiawatha Valley Mental Health Planning and an executive board meeting yesterday. Everything is well. Their numbers are up with COVID going down. Their demand is going up as far as mental health and people needing help. So they're coming in more regularly than they have in the past. So things are getting back to normal as far as that's concerned. That's the only meeting I had since the last one. I do have next week. I've got on Monday, I got the SEMCAC board meeting, which is in Casson to go to. And like Greg said, the airport meeting is coming. So, and community services on next Thursday. Or
No,
next
next
Tuesday,
Tuesday.
next Tuesday. And then if you want, I could be on the campus board because I live in town, so I could go to that after the primary election.
I was on there with you, wasn't I?
Yeah. That's all I got.
Yesterday I was meeting with the Houston Township. They were doing cleanup along my road there on Paradise Road. And I talked to the supervisor there, and he mentioned to me that they had a Houston County Township officers meeting last night. And
Oh,
I didn't know that, and so, and I was raking hay, so I couldn't make it. Anyway, so, but I got an update. All that's on their agenda is to plan their next get together meeting in September that we always do, so.
did they set a date yet or not?
Not yet, no. And so I relayed to them the open house of the new shop, the date and time for that. And I also told John to tell him that we've hired a firm for the comprehensive land use plan. And so the townships will be contacted to have input on that. So, and he relayed those messages for me. So
Usually we have one commissioner go to that meeting.
I think it's you and I that are
Yeah,
to that, but Marcos must not have
okay,
contacted either one of us. But
okay.
the other thing I want to discuss is the facilities utilization study, and I'm not here to rehash a vote. I just wanted to express my feelings on how this all came about. I feel I was deceived in our consensus discussion that we all did a consensus that we need to do a space utilization study on the current office space that we use now. We've had a lot of discussions with public health, having open rooms, meeting rooms, private meeting rooms. A lot of it was focused on their needs. And if I'm wrong, I'll, if someone wants, I'll stand corrected, but I never heard any conversation about expansion into the old historic jail for office space in this last time around. This has happened before. We've had studies before. We spent $70,000 on a grant to study the old jail and the alternative uses. They had a plan for having it to turn into office space, and it was going to cost $3.4 million. This was back in 2012. And so I understand that. We also went through the grant program recently for the historical grants. Those never came to fruition. So we've spent some money looking into that. This time around, I feel like, and if I'm wrong, I would, I'll stand corrected, but I don't feel it was ever in discussion of the old jail. And to see the RFQ last week in our packet that said that was going to be included and the Due Justice Center was excluded, that's not where I came from as far as our consensus.
I'm looking at the May 20th email that came out, and it's right here saying all the points, the three buildings that were to be looked at: 611 Vista, the historic courthouse, and the jail built in 1875 is vacant.
I never received that email.
Well, went out to all out, so I'm just reading here what I have in my file here.
Who was that sent to?
Greg Myrie, Teresa Walter, Dewey Severson, Teresa Walter, Bob Burns, Bergos, okay, there's, and Lapham, and
Yeah, Greg Olson, that's where mine went.
that was misprinted.
Greg Myrie wasn't on it?
Greg
Myrie
Olson.
is the first one.
Oh,
There,
Is Eric on there?
I don't see it, to be honest. Over here, +7, let's go over here and get that number. Doesn't appear to be honest.
I'm not on there.
I don't see it.
Eric Schmidt's on there, I see. Well, that's the
Yeah.
case then.
Yeah, yeah, there's all the names.
Well, I would just like to see the new jail be added into the study. I mean, that's our best building. Why aren't we using it? At least let him look at it and see what he thinks. There might be enough.
So you're
rooms-
thinking of adding another site?
Yeah, just add the new justice.
It
building.
is one of our assets.
It's an asset of
It is an
ours.
asset.
Why not use it?
That's true.
And if it's the best, it's the newest building we got right now, as far as I know. So let's look at it. What's that gonna hurt?
Well, I think we need to have a serious discussion. What is our plans with this jail? I mean, or the old jail? Is this what we want to do? I
We
mean,
don't
we've,
know till we see the utilization.
we've
study.
seen numbers before and we just keep kicking the can down the road. And, you know, I wish the previous board, when they built the new justice center, would have dealt with it then, but they didn't. So, you know, and I wasn't included. If I would have saw that, I would have questioned it, obviously, because I feel that that was never in our public discussions as a board, and we came to a consensus. I asked point blank Tess if this was going to include the office space we currently use, and she said yes. There was no mention of another building that we don't use. And so that's, I just want to express.
If we do the new jail, might come out, we might not need the old jail at the end. Who knows, you know? We don't know.
And I don't remember the excluding the Justice Center. I assumed that would always going to be in there. I mean, I would have certainly, if I would have received that email on the 20th of May, I would have certainly questioned it.
Well, I guess all I want to see change is put that new building in. I mean, why not?
We can do that, Tess. Put the new building, the CJC in
And
it.
whatever you wish in there, we don't have a contract. So we can put that in there and request that it be included in the analysis, this is different than the previous study of what potentially could be, the old jail could be used for. This would give you options that you can take, reject, pick between them as to who goes where as far as departments, how departments could be co-located. It may be that the old jail is not even recommended. It may be the new Justice Center is or is not recommended, or any of these buildings, as to how you might be able to utilize the space and considering the mechanics that are needed.
It was, but collaborative design has it's in the quote that they were going to look at the old jail. That's a possibility.
Yeah,
I mean,
all of the.
They
yeah.
were, they were also the engineers for the historical grant projects too. So, I mean, I think they're under the assumption that this is what we want to do. So they're going to seriously look at it.
No, they will look at whatever we ask them to look at, and
Yeah.
if we want them to include that as a possibility. And it may not be a feasible workspace for anything. All that we had before from was potential uses. And that is public and private, and maybe even at one point we approached the city as well. So.
So do we need to make a motion to put the new jail in it, or can we just add it?
Can't do an action item now.
It's not an action item, but we could have a consensus to add.
Yeah, I'm scared of consensus is right now.
And
I
let
mean,
me
I'm-
go talk to see if if they would be in agreement to adding anything without adding to the cost. I don't know. I haven't talked to them. I wanted to wait till you folks. So we'll see what's
What we
possible.
looked at last week was a proposal and the contract has not been finalized. Is that a statement?
No, it has not been finalized. I have not taken it forward.
So why wasn't I included on that email?
I will go back and look. Obviously I made an error and didn't include you. I believe that was the week I was out sick with COVID. I'm not sure. I don't have a good reason.
Well, I have no qualm with adding the Justice Center as possible look at ideas. We've talked about this utilization of our spaces. And I like the idea of including the old jail, but if we need to add the new jail, I can't see any way of utilizing that efficiently, but I'm not an expert in
I
that
can't
field.
either.
So, but if the feeling is
Utilizing which building?
the Justice.
The new building.
Yeah, the new building, yeah. I look at it as being, needing to be secure because of jail, because of the attorneys, because of all the things that are connected with that particular building. And for really a lot of access to different parts of that building, it could be difficult. But again, I have no qualm with it, looking into it. Just a thought.
It is one of our assets and it should be included in the study. If there's no use for it, other than what it has been designed and is being used for now, that's fine, but it should be included in our study.
So the old jail, we're going to recommend to Collaborative Design to come up with a plan to utilize that for office space. And they're going to engineer plans for that. Is that how this is going to work?
I kind of like to give it to the historical society to hang uniforms in.
We just heard that could be an alternative use to turn it into another museum. They're running out of space. They're running out of,
Well, you know, it's gonna cost
and
you.
they'd have to turn down artifacts. I mean, there's options out there, but my question now is this what our consensus meant? And then RFQ that was sent out that we never saw. I never saw it. Maybe you guys did. I never saw it. Is that what we're gonna do? Is they're gonna give them the authority to come up with the design and the cost of doing that?
Well, they don't have any authority.
At it and to see if that.
I'm not asking you, Carol. I'm asking the board, please.
I'm just saying, I don't think they're saying make a plan.
Carol,
We want them to do a study of what our facilities are and what it is to be efficient and to make the best use of our space to try to get away from the overcrowding that we're dealing with. Does the jail fit into that? The old jail fit into that or not? If it does, do we just have to fix up one floor and not do the basement, not do the second floor? And is that all we need to do? Or what? Maybe we don't need the old jail at all. But if we give it to the Historical Society or whoever, there's still a major cost to bringing it up to where it's a usable space.
like you said last week, we have that 700,000.
Right.
So
And we can use, similar to what other counties have done, we could use ARPA dollars for the air conditioning and the heating, let's say, to fix that up and then just use the 700, I shouldn't say just, but use the 700 for the floors, the walls, the windows and what have you.
So now, yeah, it sounds like to me there's being conversations had privately with certain folks that's not being included with
This
this.
is just my thoughts. I haven't discussed it with anybody other than Carol. I asked her if we could use ARPA dollars for the air conditioning and the heating units. I haven't talked to anybody else about that
All right.
at all.
Me neither.
But the facility, the building is there. It's a solid building. We could use it for something else. We could give it to somebody else. But in the condition that it's in, nobody else can use it. I mean, you're right in your assessment that it's going to be very expensive to use. But at least it's something we should take into consideration.
Well, you know, that guy might come along and say, well, you're gonna probably have to tuck away $5 million. You might be better off to build a new addition onto your courthouse instead of fixing all the old. You know, that could
You
be
never
something
know.
he might come up with too. Who knows?
Well, they're all gonna want direction, so. I'm just asking for being open and transparent and to make sure everybody's is included in discussions and conversations, so we all have an understanding. And I feel that the consensus that we did was not a result of what came out. And that's my beef. But what's done is done.
Opinion is that we keep the old jail in the study, but add the county justice center as another alternative. Whether or not that can be used for anything else other than what it was designed for, like Julie was talking about, I don't know, but it is an asset. Hells bells, we could talk about the new county shop too. And move Erica out there. No offense, Eric.
No, that's fine. But let's have conversations, I guess, after hearing about what happened, or discussion last week with it. Only to that, at least inventory that space and potentially not duplicate it in a plan for revitalizing this building or a fire building, what have you. Example, do we need a large meeting space when we got CJC and the new jail? I don't need equipment space here to replace what is being used out at highway for our monuments and that sort of thing. Not looking to, rehash the design, what's going on, but.
When the outfit does this study, they're gonna talk to the department heads and what they need and where they can be, what we can consolidate, not duplicate, and do we need as much, like you said, as much conference space as we're having, or can we get by without? We've got a former administrator's office room that sits empty right now that nobody's using. They'll look at all of this and making their decision as far as, not decision, recommendation to us to be more efficient and utilize our space.
Well, we know we need storage, so we could use it for storage too. I mean, you got a basement
Well, we have
there,
to see what they come up with.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
I think we're at a point of making, do we want to just add the new jail facility into our study? Is that kind of where we're at? We're kind of going over and over. We had a point of making a discussion about that, adding or whatever.
so the consensus is to add the new jail to the survey, to the study. Okay, everybody all right with that?
That's my feeling.
That's fine. From now on, I represent District 2. I want to be included on important emails such as this.
Rightfully so.
All right, I guess you kind of got a consensus there that we'll add the new jail in.
Point of clarification. You're talking about surveying your facilities, a survey of what you have in your facilities. To also include, you said storage space that you don't need any longer?
No, we just have things out, we have monuments and that sort of thing at the highway. So if they ask us how many square feet we need or whatever, part of that's being used out of the highway.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we weren't inventorying the highway.
Is that? Really,
I just want to make sure though, because it is part of the discussion as to what these people up here feel.
don't need to duplicate CJC.
And I think the first meeting this person needs to have is with the Board of Commissioners. So, and then the individual department heads. And I'll make one clarification. It isn't, the individual department heads will all say what we believe. We'll talk about our operations and what our storage things are, needs are. But it's, even though it's driven by the department heads, there's going to be an analysis of alternatives to what traditional space has been.
Talk to
I
the
think would be
department heads,
helpful.
the department heads will have their wants versus what are their actual needs.
And then I'll come back to the board.
That'll come back to the board.
Okay, everybody all right with that? Okay, let's move on then. Who's the first closed session?
I bet it's Eric.
Yeah, I imagine you've been sitting here the longest. I ain't seen nobody
Is
jumping
it
in
is
front of
closed or open? That's
the question.
Eric, you want yours open or closed? Closed? Okay.
And I'll make a motion pursuant to Minnesota statute 13D.05 subdivision 3A to evaluate the performance of an individual who is subject to its authority, the county board's authority.
Okay.
Motion made and seconded. 11:27. Motion by Eric, seconded by Teresa. And then we did our public comment, for which there was none.
Okay,
And then we motioned to adjourn at 11:27 by Eric, seconded by Dewey.